Hey there, it's Matthew here, and I want to do a testimonial for Mira Kelley. I had an absolutely phenomenal past life regression with Mira a week ago, last weekend, and it was a great experience overall. We went through two rounds of lives. The first of which was during the crucifixion with Jesus, and more importantly, the resurrection, where I was someone close to him, a disciple. I did have an experience as the disciple Stephen, in kind of, I guess it was like the second life. So I guess there was maybe a total of three, but the initial one, I was close to Jesus and witnessed the resurrection, or had a memory of like that scene. And it was visceral. Like I definitely had a like an experience of like connecting with Jesus and feeling that in my heart. And it was nice. It was really nice. And then later had an experience as Stephen the disciple, um and actually like healing um an older man, kind of in the streets, who was debilitated with some digestive issues, which seemed somewhat relevant to what some of the health situation that I've been dealing with. So that was really interesting. And I felt an affinity with Stephen as of recent. So it was cool to see that kind of correlation. But that was significant, and very tangible. But what I would say is, the second, that was kind of like two lives, but I'll just say it was one because it was like the same time period. The second round, that was really the most experiential for me, where I initially I thought I was going to be um in the Renaissance era, or kind of Machiavellian era. I don't know if that's the same time period or not, but then, like, because when I initially went into the scene, but then as the scene revealed to me, it was apparent, no, I'm actually in the George Washington era. I don't know the exact dates of that. I think it's in the 1800s, or maybe it's the 1700s. I'm not sure, but I live in Canada, so I don't have the U.S. History so much. Um, but it was really fascinating because I was a captain of an army, and how many men, I don't know, but it kind of felt like a significant number. But what was really fascinating is, as I looked and I could see myself dressed in the clothing of that era, because I sort of looked like George Washington, or like that's the image that I sort of identified with. Whether I was him exactly or not, I don't know, but I had an identification with that era, and as a captain of this squad, or what have you. But what was most important about that was I got this visceral feeling of leadership, like really visceral, like the first round during that era of Jesus. The images were like, some of it was just coming, and then some of it felt like I was imagining, right, creatively, which is part of the process. But the one in the George Washington era was just like all there. It was just like flooding in, and the feelings of like leadership and power, and being respected by my men, and just having like full authority and full command, and like decisiveness, and really strong leadership. It was all there in my core. In fact, um there was an area in my core, I remember, where I'd never really felt power before. It was ignited, and I have now like a memory of that, which is interesting, and it was really just a powerful experience. And probably for the first time that I can ever remember, I felt like total power, and I didn't feel any um tension in my digestive system or any form of well, it's not that I'm feeling anxiety all the time, but there was just no tension in that system, and it was just pure power, pure respect for, from people, full authority. It was really fantastic. Yeah, so wow, incredible experience. And then I had a nice insight with that too, because around the digestive area, I've been dealing with something called the ileocecal valve, which is where the small and large intestine meet, and everything's supposed to flow from the small to large. But what happens with when the valve isn't working is things go backwards, kind of like if you have things coming up through your sink plumbing, right? It's not supposed to happen. So something like that is what's going on. And the insight that came is like with that direct leadership is things are just moving in one direction. And my life theme has been split since I was like really young, age 3, and like even in the womb and conception, I would imagine, is being split between my mom and my dad's worldview, and they divorced when I was 3, and just totally polarizing views. And so that's always been a theme of like this or that, like kind of indecisiveness or doubt. Internally, people probably wouldn't think of that looking at me from the outside, but internally that's always been something. And this inner decisiveness of just like one direction, one purpose, one focus really came out in that life. So super significant, really powerful. So highly recommend Mira's work. Obviously it speaks for itself, but I had a fantastic experience. And I had, quite a few years ago now, probably like 6 years ago or so, 6 or 7 years ago, I did another form of past life regression, and it was like good and valuable at the time, and everything happens for a reason, but this was definitely like a next level tangible experience, particularly that life during the George Washington period. So again, thank you, Mira, and appreciate your amazing gift. Thank you.